On September 26, 1983, a Soviet nuclear early warning system detected 5 incoming American ballistic missiles. Protocol was clear. Procedure was clear. The man on duty was supposed to report the attack immediately, triggering a Soviet nuclear response. He had approximately 5 minutes to decide. His name was Stanislav Petrov. He was a 44-year-old Soviet lieutenant colonel. He decided it was a false alarm. He decided not to report it. He decided, essentially, not to end the world. And he was right. This is his story, and almost nobody has ever heard it. To understand what Petrov faced that night, you need to understand how terrifyingly close the world already was to nuclear war in 1983. In March, President Reagan announced the Strategic Defense Initiative, Star Wars, a space-based missile defense system the Soviets saw as preparation for a first strike. In September, the Soviet military shot down Korean Airlines Flight 007, a civilian jet that strayed into their airspace. 269 died. Outrage was at a fever pitch, and NATO was scheduled to run Able Archer 83, simulating a nuclear attack. Soviet intelligence was genuinely uncertain if it was a drill or the real thing. Into this environment, on the night of September 26th, Stanislav Petrov sat down at his monitoring station outside Moscow, and the alarm went off. At 12:14 a.m. Moscow time, the OKO early warning satellite system triggered a launch detection alert. 1 missile, launched from the United States, inbound, then a second, then a third, fourth, fifth. The system was showing 5 intercontinental ballistic missiles heading for the Soviet Union. The alarm level read, launch. The confidence level read, highest. Petrov's job at that moment was mechanical. Report the alert. They would decide what to do next. The chain of command would activate. The Soviet nuclear response would begin. He had minutes, maybe less. Petrov did not report it. Instead, he picked up the phone to his duty officer and said, "The system is malfunctioning. This is a false alarm." He had no confirmation of this. Every protocol said, report this immediately. But Petrov had doubts, and he trusted his doubts over his orders. Why? If the U.S. was launching a first strike, they wouldn't start with 5 missiles. They had thousands. 5 made no strategic sense. The ground radar systems, which were slower but more reliable, had not confirmed the launch. The alert was coming only from the satellite. The system was new and had known issues, and his gut told him something was wrong. He later said, "I had a feeling, not data, just a feeling." For 23 minutes, while the missiles would have reached their targets had they been real, Petrov held. He kept the line open. False alarm. 23 minutes in, ground radars confirmed. No launch. So what triggered it? Sunlight. The satellite misread sunlight reflecting off clouds as a missile launch. A rare alignment of orbit, clouds, and sunlight created a perfect false positive, 5 times in a row. Hence, 5 missiles. The most sophisticated early warning system in the world had been fooled. The only thing standing in the way was one man's gut feeling at 12:14 in the morning. You might expect Petrov was celebrated. He was not. The military quietly investigated. They found no fault, but praising him meant admitting the system failed. Admitting failure was embarrassing. He received a verbal reprimand for improper documentation, was reassigned, and took early retirement. The incident was classified. He went home to his small apartment outside Moscow and didn't talk about it. The world didn't learn the truth until 1998. Journalists found him living quietly. He was genuinely surprised anyone cared. He said he didn't consider himself a hero. He had just done his job. In his later years, he received recognition. He was invited to the United Nations. But historians point out the true stakes of that night. In the hair-trigger environment of 1983, a reported launch alert almost certainly would have been acted upon. The consequences are impossible to calculate. Stanislav Petrov died in May 2017 at the age of 77 in the same modest apartment. His death went unreported for several months. The man who may have saved the world died quietly, and the world barely noticed. Every person alive today owes something to him. History isn't just battles. Sometimes it's one person, alone, making a decision. Subscribe for more. Had you heard of Stanislav Petrov? Let me know.